you have to bear with me in English, even though I'm living in Poland for the past year and a half. My level of confidence in Polish is to go to Żabka, have a small talk, and go back home. So I hope you guys won't be bothered with me and you bear with me in English, okay? So yeah, I'm the head of matching at Tech to the Rescue, and I'm here to talk a little bit more about this organization, what we're doing. And before that, has anyone here heard about Tech to the Rescue before? Okay, not many hands, which is not very good for us, but for the audience is good, right? This is going to be a new content and information. So before I actually talk what Tech to the Rescue is, how we're using technology and design, I want to start with a rhetoric question. Just keep it in the back of your heads. How do you give back to community? As entrepreneurs, as business owners, working in technology and design, how do you think of this question lately? And I'll get back to it in the end. And the reason why I'm here and the reason why Tech to the Rescue exists is because, very dramatically, we are running out of time to save the world. The humanity, I think we all know, we all follow the news here, we're on the verge of a collapse. Social collapse, political, environmental, all of the things that we only dreamed, they are starting to happen and unfold in front of us, right? And the thing is, we're still missing in so much to make the world a more sustainable place, right? If you're familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, so these are the goals that the United Nations established so we can achieve a better world by 2030. We are actually missing at least 15 trillions of US dollars to actually reach those goals, and we're far, far behind on that. And what is needed? How can we actually achieve those goals and try to save the world and rescue the world, right? We need effective, scalable solutions to make the biggest progress possible towards those goals, but ultimately to make the world a better place, right? And what we need are effective local interventions that can be scaled to impact millions of lives, to impact the environment at a larger scale. But the ugly truth is that actually the resources is extremely scarce for those that are actually trying to make the world a better place, right? 93% we hear called change makers, but these are nonprofits, mission-driven organizations, basically those that have impact in their core, right? 93% of them, they lack all the resources to actually build scalable solutions to achieve impact. They lack the IT talent, the tech savviness, the vision, the budget, the team in place that can actually build scalable solutions to help their beneficiaries, to help achieve impact faster, right? The good news is that 85% of these change makers actually think that technology is key to the success of their organization, right? Technology is the way to go if they want to grow and achieve impact 2, 3, 4, 5 times faster, right? And that's where it comes Tech to the Rescue. And the power of networks. After all, this is a networking event, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit what Tech to the Rescue is. And in fact, we are a nonprofit born in Poland. The founders of the organization, they started to think, okay, during COVID times when everything was online, everything was remote, all eyes were into what technology can do to help us as a humanity, as population, right? They were thinking, okay, how can we help those change makers? How we can empower them with technology if these resources are so lacking in their world, right? And there comes the idea of Tech to the Rescue. How about we empower those change makers, those nonprofit organizations, and connect them with a world that has a lot of those resources abundant, right? Let's connect the nonprofit and social impact world with this world of technology, with tech companies, software houses, design agencies, all of these people that have the skills, the talent, and know how to use technology, and let's connect them to use technology for the greater good. And that's exactly what Tech to the Rescue does. I am the head of the matching team, which is the team that exactly matches nonprofits around the world that have, a problem or they have a vision that they want to achieve to scale their impact. And they come with us with an idea of a project, what they want to do with technology, and then we match them, we connect them with companies around the world that have the resources to do that. So basically, what we are trying to do as an organization is to put in contact two worlds that usually wouldn't relate much to each other, right? They wouldn't connect. There is not even a space for them to get to know them, right? So that's what we believe that is necessary for the world if we want to achieve those sustainable goals, if we want to, scale impact, right? So we're talking here about collaboration towards change. But how does actually work? Okay, you're connecting nonprofits and, a project related to social impact, but how this actually happens? And what we do and the movement that we are trying to build is to actually make companies and tech partners in the world to understand that they have a big and very expressive role in making the world a better place, right? And what we encourage them to do and the movement that we are trying to create is that by inviting companies to do these projects and to work with these social impact organizations on a pro bono basis, they are investing in impact. And that's exactly what we are trying to do and trying to bring more and more companies to this idea that investing in impact is key to actually achieve sustainable development goals that we want as humankind, right? Since Tech to the Rescue started, we enabled 500 collaborations of that, which means 500 scalable solutions that were built between tech partners and nonprofits all over the world. And Tech to the Rescue, even though it was born here in Poland, it got very international and we're able already to work with 70 countries around the world. And this is actually even outdated. We have now 1,500 plus companies that pledge their interest on investing in impact. And when I say impact, it can be, from very diverse teams, coming from very different backgrounds. But these are usually what we work more with those tech companies and with these nonprofits, right? So we have been working on animal welfare causes, supporting LGBTQ plus community, supporting Ukrainian organizations both in Ukraine and outside of Ukraine, trying to enhance the country during those difficult times. As I said, we started in COVID relief, so trying to support organizations in their digital transformation and to keep up with the changes of the world, right? And here we are also an earthquake response when Turkey and Syria were affected by it. So as I see, when we talk about impact and the sustainable goals, this comes from very different realms. It can be social, it can be political, it can be environmental. The important thing is that we're enabling these connections so that we achieve a more sustainable world. But okay, how does that relate into practice? And I brought here a case that I would like to share with you, which is a project called the Lily Project. The Lily Project is a nonprofit organization based in Nicaragua, and it was founded by this lovely girl, which is called Anielka Medina. She's the co-founder of the project. Anielka Medina is a nurse from Nicaragua, and unfortunately, she lost her mother at a very young age. And she lost her mother to cervical cancer, which is, I cannot even imagine how difficult it was for her, but she took that and she put it as a strength and she put it as her career path, right? So she became a nurse and she created the Lily Project, which is a project that she was driving from community to community in Nicaragua, talking about the harms of cervical cancer and how can be prevented. Because actually cervical cancer, 93% of the cases can be either prevented or can be cured. But the problem is, for many different reasons, for taboo, for not having the right access, especially in Latin America, women does not work on preventing cervical cancers. And I'm saying Latin America because Anielka is based in Nicaragua, but all over the world the stats doesn't differ much. And she was so angry about this. She was so like, how I lost my mother, and I'm seeing a lot of families losing their mothers, daughters, family members for this cancer, which can be so preventable. It has a vaccine. It can be completely avoided if we raise awareness about this, if we go to the communities and make them understand that they don't have to go through this. So she started the Lily Project. She was driving in her truck, going with some folders and so on, doing the vaccine and raising awareness among women and girls all over the country. Amazing project, but how can you make that actually scalable, right? And that's where comes the power of community. So Anielka was doing this project, and she had this idea of like, okay, I'm doing a great job, I'm raising awareness among all of these people, but I'm still not seeing these rates and these mortality rates actually decreasing. How can I actually make something here that will achieve more people? So she came up with this idea to create an app. Very simple mobile application that could be deployed in multiple languages, that she could have all women accessing and having their health profile there, following the content and all the information about cervical cancer, and also other health matters as well, but her focus was that. She came up with a whole plan, with a whole vision, but she didn't have the resources to do this app. And I'm not saying hiring developers to build this app for her. No, she didn't have an idea of how this would look like, how the users would interact with that, what would be actually the results of that app, right? Luckily, she found About Tech to the rescue. And then she submitted a project with us. She had a whole vision. She was explaining about the Lily Project, what she's doing with her truck and with her team, how they're going from community to community, selling this idea, talking to women, talking to people on the ground, and the end beneficiary of that. And she said, look, I need to scale that. I need more women in Latin America and hopefully in the world to know about this, to know that cervical cancer is preventable, that they don't have to suffer for that, that families don't have to be affected by that if we raise awareness about that and if we raise awareness about women's health. And then she came with this amazing idea. She was looking for any support that she could have to turn this vision that was in paper into a reality. And that's when we had the match. And we found a company based in the Netherlands, completely separated by an ocean, but with this idea of like, okay, we have the tech resources here to engage an impactful project. They saw this project, and then they decided that, okay, it is a match, we think it is an important cause, and we want to support. Which is then, we come to the Shava app. So the Lily Project got matched with this company, which, again, is not only a matter of having a tech team involved, but having a team that will support those change makers achieving their goals. So this company brought UX designers, a business analyst, a whole multidisciplinary team that took it and said, look, let's talk with your users. Let's talk with the people in the communities. Let's see what they want with this app, what they see is important for them. And let's not keep focus with the person at the core, the woman that needs to be, that needs to know that and needs to access those apps. So they created the Shava app, which is an app that is still rolling and in Nicaragua, but in also other Spanish-speaking countries in Latin America. And they created that in a 1 year of development. They did discovery phase. They talked with the users. They created a whole trajectory of the app based on the work that she was doing in the communities. Extensive work, I'm not gonna lie, but in the end, they came up with something that is completely scalable, and it's bringing amazing results. So from an offline, local, limited reach that Anielka was doing, driving every day to the furthest communities ever, she now owns an online platform with global reach, based because purely she had a company that was there and believed in her and believed in this project and decided to partner with her, right? Now she created, along with this company, a scalable technology that is helping save over 51 million of women dying from cervical cancer because they are being able to prevent the disease. That is one of the most impactful projects that we always share, because it comes from a very simple solution and a very simple act of like raising awareness on a topic that is, in some countries, is so taken for granted, and turning into that into a highly scalable solution that it's helping millions of lives, right? But we don't need to go that far. And I have actually another example, which is from a nonprofit called Nigerian Network of NGOs that actually got matched for a short project with one company in this room. So the Nigerian Network of NGOs, they came to Tech to the rescue because they needed a very simple task that they couldn't do it alone. They needed a UX audit. Why? Because they are an umbrella organization from Nigeria, which more than 25 other nonprofits relying on them or on their contact, relying on how they're processing information and presenting information. So they came to us and they needed desperately this UX audit to enhance their website, to enhance the platform that they built, because they simply didn't have this talent in-house. They cannot do it by themselves. So we actually matched the Nigerian Network of NGOs with Edisonda. And we had a very, very short-term project, but it had so much scale. And I'm bringing this here just for you to see, for the slightest task that for us, you know, more tech-savvy people working in this world, it can be something really simple, but it actually brings so much impact to those change makers, to those nonprofits. So in here, when we had a short-term and a design project that, you know, I'm sure people in this room can do that in 1 or 2 hours in the day, maybe. But for them, it was so important because then, by having this partnership and having this project completed, they had an improved website and a community space that benefited more than 25 Nigerian organizations that were under their umbrella. So see, you don't have to build robust and sophisticated applications to actually do good or to, you know, create a huge impact. No, because the whole point here is to attend to those change makers' necessities and how they are scaling this impact. And when I asked you before, the first thing I started the presentation with, how do you give back to the community, you know, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, right? And when I ask that, usually to companies, and I talk with companies every day as part of my job, they always go like, yeah, so how we give back to the community? Well, in the end of the year, we bring, you know, our designers and developers, we go to a school and we paint the walls. Or we just, you know, do some distribution here of goods to some specific communities and so on. That's amazing, right? And it's needed. But how about, instead of having hours of developers and designers painting walls, because I know these people's hours are not very cheap, instead, how to get those hours and devote them to building impactful technology, scalable technology and scalable solutions that actually create long-lasting impact, right? So that's our main goal as an organization. As Tech to the Rescue, our whole vision is to get, you know, create this movement where doing good and investing in impact is something normal, is something routine for all companies, tech companies and agencies around the world. Then you ask me, Anna, but how you can do that, you know, like, how can we actually invest in impact? Maybe some people here already have the possibility to engage with a project, but you don't even know, right? So companies, when they invest in impact, and I know this is sort of a buzzword, invest in impact, but this means getting, you know, your teams that are maybe on the bench. How about doing a Tech for Good project with them? Or maybe you're trying to upskill some of your employees, some of your designers and tech teams. AI is coming, all companies need to adapt. How about to upskill that with a Tech for Good project? Or maybe even you want to embrace new markets. Let's say you want to have the teams learning English or practicing English in their professional daily routine, right? How about trying with a Tech for Good project? So when I say investing in impact, even though it is this big word and this big term, is just a way of saying that the role of the tech world and the world of people who knows technology, who has the talent in technology, is huge when it comes to making the world a better place. And finally, how you can actually help. You can always join us as a tech company, as an agency, and basically bringing your tech talents on board. But you can also connect with us. You can also spread the word. You can also, because I know this is a networking event, you can also talk about it. And in the next coffee break, you can ask to your colleague and say, have you ever thought how we could give back to the community? And I'm not saying it has to be like this, but at least should be a question that we should all have in mind as, human beings if we really want to achieve a more sustainable world. And that's it. Thank you.